There's something you've been carrying that isn't yours, a narrative, a story, a version of yourself that was never yours to begin with. It's the story that tells you who you are, what you can do, and what you're worthy of. And somewhere along the way, you've come to believe that story, allowing it to become your truth, even though it was never meant to be. But here's the reality that nobody told you. The version of yourself you've been living with, the one who questions, who doubts, who is perpetually unsure of whether they're good enough, isn't the real you. It's just a mask, a costume you've worn for so long that you've forgotten it wasn't your true skin. You've become so immersed in this story that you've lost sight of who you truly are underneath it all. And what's more, you've forgotten a fundamental truth, one that's always been there, waiting for you to remember. You didn't come into this world broken, and you certainly didn't come into this life needing to prove your worth or earn your place. That's not why you're here. The truth, the unshakable truth, lies beneath all the layers of conditioning and all the noise. It's the truth that tells you your enoughness was never in question. You were always enough. From the moment you took your first breath, you were enough. Not because you did anything to deserve it, not because you met some arbitrary set of standards or achieved anything special, but because the universe doesn't make mistakes. Your very existence is proof of your inherent value. And if this message resonates with you in some way, take a moment to reflect on it, because the only thing standing between you and this truth is your willingness to believe it. Not with your mind, which has been trained to doubt and second-guess, but with something deeper, your spirit, your essence. I'm talking about the part of you that existed before the world began teaching you to question yourself, before you were conditioned to worry if you were good enough. It's the part of you that knows the truth without needing external validation because it is the truth. And that's the invitation I'm offering you today. Stop waiting for permission. Stop looking for someone else to confirm your worth, to validate what you already know deep inside. Believe that the vision, the dream, the calling that still burns brightly within you, it's there for a reason. It's not by accident. That dream recognized something within you that matched its frequency. And that resonance? That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. The strength you've been searching for? It's already within you. It's been there all along, just waiting for you to stop seeking it externally and start trusting what's inside. Every step you take toward your dreams isn't just progress, it's reclamation. You're not becoming someone new. You're returning to the person you've always been beneath the layers of fear, performance, and people-pleasing. But yes, I know there is fear. I know there's doubt. I know the voices, both internal and external, will tell you that it's impossible. They will say you're not ready, that you should wait a little longer. But those voices? They are not prophets. They are just echoes of old programming, and you don't have to listen to them anymore. Move through them. Don't go around them. Don't try to bypass them or avoid them. Move through them, because on the other side of fear is your dream, the dream that's been patiently waiting for you, and it's waited long enough. More importantly, you've waited long enough. This journey isn't about worthiness. You were always worthy. It's about willingness, your willingness to finally claim what's been yours from the start. Let's take a moment to reflect on what you've survived. The wounds, the scars, the things you carry with you, they're not signs of weakness. They're proof of your resilience. They are documentation of your battles. These scars aren't symbols of brokenness. They are evidence that something tried to break you and failed. You're still here. You're still standing. You're still fighting. And that alone speaks volumes about your strength. There's an ancient saying that the wound is where the light enters. And yes, that's true. But I'd like to expand on that. Your pain, your struggle, isn't some form of cosmic punishment. It isn't a scorekeeper from some higher power measuring your missteps. No, your pain is initiation. It's the doorway into a version of yourself that could never have been unlocked through comfort alone. Pain, hardship, and struggle force you to dive into depths you never knew existed. They expose strengths, capacities, and qualities that have always been inside you but remained dormant until crisis demanded their activation. Think about it. Pain strips everything away. It burns through the layers of pretense, of perfection, of the person you thought you needed to be in order to be loved or accepted. And what's left? The real you, the core of you. The you that can't be destroyed because it's already been tested by fire and it came out the other side even stronger. That's what's happening now. In this season of your life, you aren't being destroyed, you're being refined. You're being shown not just who you are, but who you've always been, beneath the layers of fear and the need to conform. And yes, this process may feel like loss. It may feel like you're disappearing, like everything is falling apart. But in reality, you're not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. You're finding the most authentic version of yourself, the one that doesn't need external validation to know its worth, the one that stands firm, unshakable, even when the world around it is uncertain. Here's the thing, you're not the same person you were when this challenge began. And that's not a tragedy. That's a victory. You're deeper now, more aware, more resilient, harder to deceive, harder to manipulate, harder to break. The comfort you experienced before this hardship wasn't the blessing you thought it was. It was merely a temporary respite that kept you from accessing the deeper truths about yourself. It allowed you to coast on potential without ever demanding that you access your true capacity. But now, this difficult season has forced you to tap into reserves of strength and resilience you didn't know you had. It's shown you parts of yourself that were always there, but only now, in the face of adversity, are you realizing their full potential. And here's the crucial part. This season, this painful and necessary season, didn't create your strength. It revealed it. The power was always within you. It just needed the right circumstances to bring it to the surface. Now let me share a secret with you about someone who's watching you right now. They're seeing everything you're going through. They're watching you with eyes full of gratitude. I'm talking about your future self, the person you will become once this struggle is behind you. They're looking back at this moment with profound appreciation, not because the pain was enjoyable, but because they know something you don't yet realize. They know that you didn't quit. They know you kept going, even when every part of you wanted to stop. They know that you chose growth over safety, evolution over stagnation, becoming over remaining the same. And they also know that this struggle doesn't last forever. The weight you're carrying will eventually lift. The fire that's refining you will eventually cool. But the person you are becoming through this process, they will be permanent. The strength you are building will become a part of your permanent architecture. The resilience you are forging will form the bedrock of your identity. The wisdom you're gaining in the darkness will shine through as your guiding light. Here's a truth about hardship that many people fail to understand. Hardship doesn't create heroes. It doesn't create strength out of thin air. What it does is reveal what was always there, hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right conditions to emerge. You were always capable of this level of endurance. You were always equipped for this kind of intensity. You simply hadn't been tested until now. You hadn't been pushed to your limits to see just how much you could handle. But now, you're discovering something profound. The place where you thought you'd fall apart? That's not where disintegration happens. That's where discovery happens. That's where you find out what you're really made of. And what you're made of is far more substantial than you ever gave yourself credit for. You're made of resilience. You're made of endurance. You're stronger than this season, stronger than this pain, stronger than the voice in your mind that insists you're not enough. And that voice? The one that has followed you around, the one that sounds so authoritative, so certain of your limitations. It's lying. It's always been lying. You are enough. You have always been enough. This season of hardship isn't here to punish you. It's simply here to show you how much strength, power, and resilience you have within you. You are diving into parts of yourself you've been too afraid to confront before. And when you emerge from this, you won't be the same. You'll be sharper, you'll be clearer. You'll be more unshakable than you've ever been before. Not because the pain somehow changed you, but because you made the choice to let it transform you. You chose to let this experience refine you rather than destroy you. And that's the difference between those who break and those who break through. This choice you're making every day, even when you don't realize it, is what will define you. It's not the pain, it's not the suffering. It's your refusal to give up, your refusal to let this challenge define who you are. Your strength lies not in how strong you appear, but in your ability to continue, even when every part of you wants to stop. Let me tell you something that you might need to hear today. You are not a mess. In fact, you are not a failure, nor are you defined by your struggles. What you are is a human being, complex, feeling, and fully alive, navigating a world that, at times, can be overwhelmingly chaotic and messy. There's a subtle but incredibly important distinction in this understanding. The messiness of your life, your emotions, your path forward, it's not who you are, it's simply what you're experiencing. You see, life is inherently messy. It's full of challenges, obstacles, and moments that feel too hard to bear. You have been, and will continue to be, tested in ways that can feel confusing and overwhelming. But none of that diminishes who you are. The mess that surrounds you doesn't define you. It's just the world you're moving through. This season of your life, wherever you are right now, might be full of confusion, doubt, and struggle. And that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's human. You're allowed to feel like you don't have everything figured out. You don't have to perform some version of strength for others who may never fully understand the depth of your struggle, even if you tried to explain it. You don't need to pretend that you're fine when you're not. In truth, what you need most right now is to keep going. One breath, one step, one moment at a time. That's it. Because here's what happens in those moments of survival, those moments when you don't give up. Every moment you keep pushing forward is proof. It's proof to yourself, deep within your soul, that you can keep going. Every single day you make it through this season of life, it's evidence that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. You're accumulating evidence that you're stronger than you thought, more resilient than you believed, and that the fire of your struggle is not there to destroy you, it's there to forge you. And eventually, all those small steps will add up. The little victories will compound over time. You might not notice it day by day, but one day you'll look back and realize something extraordinary. You walked through the fire, and you didn't just survive it. You came out of it holding fire. Not because you were chosen, not because you were special in a way that others aren't. No, you came out of it holding fire because you made the conscious decision to let the fire transform you instead of letting it consume you. Take a moment right now to reflect on this. I want you to speak a declaration to the universe. Say it out loud if you can. I choose transformation. Not as some casual comment, but as a powerful, energetic declaration. This is a statement that you're no longer available for destruction. You're claiming your power to be forged instead of burned. Let that declaration resonate and ripple out into the universe. Let this be the moment you remember. Transformation, real transformation, always feels like destruction at first. There's no way around this truth. To become something new, something stronger, something more authentic, you have to release something old. And releasing something, even if it's something that's been holding you back, always feels like loss. Even when it's truly liberation, it can still feel like you're losing something. But here's the thing. Even if you're still standing in the flames right now, you're closer to emergence than you were yesterday. You're closer to transformation than you were last week. That's progress. That's victory. Let me tell you this clearly. You are not stuck. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not defeated. You are in process. And if you're going through a painful time, that's because the process is inherently painful. But it's also deeply powerful. When you emerge from this season, and I promise you, you will emerge. You won't just be stronger in a vague general sense. You will be different. You will be better. You will be more authentic. You'll be the version of you that this season tried to break, but couldn't. You will be the version that walked through fire and came out forged. Right now, in the midst of this struggle, something incredible is happening. It's not taking from you, even though it feels that way. It's giving. It's giving you access to parts of yourself you couldn't reach any other way. It's giving you strength, wisdom, and resilience. You might not feel it yet, but one day, this season will be proof. Proof that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. This struggle is preparing you for something greater that's coming next in your life. And if this message resonates with you, if you feel that spark of truth within you, then I invite you to stay connected. Not just to this message, but to this frequency, to this space, to this community of people who are walking through their own struggles, fires, and transformations. We are all choosing transformation over resignation. We're walking through the fires, and we are choosing to be forged instead of burned. So keep going, keep moving forward. Not because it's easy, because it's not easy. Not because you feel ready, because you might never feel completely ready. But because you are stronger than this season thinks you are. Stronger than the pain, stronger than the fear, stronger than the voices telling you that you can't do it. You can, you are, you will. This season of struggle does not have the power to define you. It only has the power to refine you. It can't take away your worth. It can only reveal what was always true, but hidden beneath layers of fear and doubt. And when it's over, when you're standing on the other side looking back at everything you've survived, you'll understand something profound. This was not the end. This was just the beginning. The beginning of the strongest, truest, most authentic version of yourself that you've ever known. The person you're becoming right now, through this pain, through this struggle, is the version of you that you were always meant to be. You are in the process of becoming the version of yourself that can withstand any storm, that can face any challenge, and that can walk through any fire without being consumed. Now, let's take a moment to talk about your current reality. I want you to understand something crucial. The quantum field responds to the frequency you broadcast. It mirrors back to you the energetic frequency you emit. In this moment right now, you have a choice about what frequency you are sending out into the world. You can broadcast the frequency of defeat. You can choose to see yourself as a victim of your circumstances, as someone who is overwhelmed and doesn't know how to get through. Or you can choose to broadcast the frequency of emergence. You can choose to see yourself as someone who is being forged by this, not destroyed by it. And here's the thing, the field doesn't judge your choice. It simply mirrors back to you whatever frequency you're consistently vibrating. So what are you choosing? What signal are you sending out into the world? Your reality, the experiences you're having right now, will reflect that signal back to you. The way you perceive yourself and the way you choose to interpret your struggles will determine how those struggles transform you. This is where science meets spirituality. This is where quantum mechanics and consciousness intersect. The observer effect is not just a laboratory phenomenon, it's happening in your life right now. Right now, you're at a choice point. You can observe yourself as someone being destroyed by difficulty, or you can observe yourself as someone being refined by it. Both are available in the quantum field. Both are possibilities waiting to be realized, and the one that becomes your actual experience will be determined by which one you consistently choose to believe, to observe, and to embody. Now, what we're exploring today is just the surface of how this frequency transmission works in your life. If you feel that resonance, if you feel the truth of these concepts stirring within you, and you want to learn more about how you can move from unconscious transmission to conscious creation, I have something for you. I've put together a comprehensive guide called Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It goes into the depth of the 9 master frequencies that govern conscious creation and teaches you how to move beyond unconscious patterns to becoming the magnetic force that shapes your reality. But before you dive into that, let's do a practice together. Take a moment, place your hand over your heart and feel the rhythm of your heartbeat, that pulse that's proof of your aliveness. It's evidence that you're still here, still moving forward. And with each beat, you can choose to send a new signal into your system. You can send a signal that says, I am being refined, not destroyed. I am being forged, not broken. I am becoming, not ending. Feel that shift within you. Feel the subtle but powerful change in your internal state. That's you taking back your power as the observer. That's you deciding which quantum possibility you're going to collapse into your reality. This isn't about positive thinking or denying your struggles. This is about conscious creation. This is about you remembering that you're not just a victim of circumstances. You're a conscious participant in your own becoming. The wounds you carry, they are not evidence of damage. They are portals. Each one is a place where light entered you, a place where the universe cracked you open so more of your true essence could emerge. The pain you've experienced has initiated you into dimensions of yourself you couldn't access any other way. And now, in this moment, you get to choose how to use that initiation. Are you going to let it make you bitter? Or are you going to let it make you better? Are you going to close yourself off from the world to protect yourself from more pain? Or are you going to open up, knowing that your capacity to feel pain is matched only by your capacity to feel joy, meaning And purpose? The choice is yours. It always has been. Even when you felt powerless, there was one power: you always had the power to choose your response. The power to decide what meaning you're going to make from this experience. The power to determine whether this season of your life will define you or refine you. One word. A single word that encapsulates the energy, the intention, and the frequency you're choosing to embody as you move forward. This word isn't just something to think about, it's an energetic signature you're sending into the quantum field. Let that word become your declaration of who you are becoming, a living testament to your transformation. And as you type it, feel it. Don't just think about it, embody it. Let it infiltrate your cells, your very being. Let it shift your energy. Because this isn't just about a mental acknowledgement. This is about a physical and emotional shift that reverberates through every fiber of your existence. The truth is, the more people who choose transformation, the more the collective energy shifts. When you choose to transform instead of being broken by life's challenges, you are contributing to a massive, unstoppable wave of change that affects everyone around you. By choosing to be forged rather than destroyed, you don't just change your own life, you change the collective experience. Every time you rise above the noise, above the fear, above the doubt, you are creating a ripple effect in the quantum field. You are helping to raise the vibration of the collective, showing others that it's possible to rise even when the weight of the world feels unbearable. This is how consciousness evolves. It happens one person at a time, one individual at a time, making the conscious decision to remember their true essence. One person at a time, refusing to accept the narrative of limitation, scarcity, and lack. One person at a time, stepping into their power as a conscious creator of their reality. And by simply being here, by listening to these words, by choosing to see your current struggles as an initiation rather than a punishment, you are part of that massive, collective awakening. You're contributing to the shift in human consciousness. You are part of the solution. You are the light, and your courage to step into your own transformation is what lights the way for others to do the same. So, in this moment, subscribe not just to stay connected to this conversation, but to stay coherent. Subscribe to stay aligned with this frequency of transformation and empowerment. Subscribe to remind yourself, again and again, that you are not who the world told you to be. You are who you've always been underneath the conditioning, the layers of fear, doubt, and smallness that life tried to convince you to wear. The version of you that's emerging, the one that this season of struggle is helping to reveal, is not new. It's ancient. It's the you who existed before the world taught you to shrink, to play it safe, to let fear rule your life. This season is burning away everything that isn't really you. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it feels like loss. But what's emerging from those ashes is your true self, unconditioned, uncompromised, and unbreakable. Now, let's dive deeper into what this transformation really means for your day-to-day existence. Understanding these concepts intellectually is one thing. Living them, embodying them, and making them a part of your everyday experience, that's where true transformation happens. And this is where many people fall short. They hear these truths, they feel inspired for a fleeting moment, but they never bridge the gap between knowing and actually being. So, here's what I want you to understand about identity. The identity you carry, the story you've been telling yourself about who you are, is a construct. It's a story you've been repeating for so long that it feels like truth. But the truth is, your identity is fluid. It's not fixed. It's malleable. Stories can be rewritten. Identities can be shed like old skin. The version of you that struggles with self-doubt, that feels inadequate, that's not who you really are. That's learned behavior. That's absorbed programming from a world that profits from your insecurity. Your true identity, the one that lies beneath all the layers of conditioning, is vast. It's powerful. It's infinite, connected to something much larger than your individual experience. You are not separate from the intelligence that orchestrates galaxies, that grows forests, that moves the tides. You are an expression of that very intelligence. You are part of it. And when you let this realization sink into your bones, not just your mind, everything changes. Think of it this way. A wave doesn't exist separately from the ocean. It's a temporary formation of the ocean itself. Similarly, you are not separate from the field of consciousness that animates all of reality. You are a unique expression of that field, a localized concentration of it. Just like the wave has access to the entire ocean's power, you have access to the full intelligence and strength of the consciousness field. And this isn't just a poetic thought. This is not just a metaphor, this is a profound truth. You can verify it through your own experience. The boundary between you and everything else is far more permeable than you've been taught to believe. You are not an isolated, separate entity. You are a node in an infinite, interconnected web. And that web is always available to you. It's always supporting you. It contains more resources, wisdom, and energy than your limited perspective could ever access alone. But here's the catch. Fear, contraction, and small-minded thinking block access to this field. The belief that you're alone in your struggles, the belief that you have to figure everything out by yourself, the thought that you're inadequate to face the challenges before you, these are the very things that cut you off from the larger, abundant field. Every time you contract into that small self, you forget your connection to the infinite. The very season of life you're going through right now, the one that feels like it's breaking you, is doing something deeper. It's breaking down the contracted pattern. It's forcing you to expand, to go beyond the limitations of the small self. It's pushing you to remember your connection to something far greater than your individual mind. Because when you're pushed to your edge, when everything feels like it's falling apart, you have two choices. You can break, or you can break open. And breaking open means remembering that you're not just a single, isolated individual. You are part of a vast, interconnected whole. Let me offer you a simple practice to help you reconnect with this truth. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and as you exhale, imagine releasing the boundary between you and everything around you. You're not disappearing. You're not losing yourself. You're softening the edges. You're allowing yourself to feel connected to the air you breathe, to the ground beneath your feet, to the space around you. As you do this, notice what happens. Feel the shift in your energy. You're no longer defending the fortress of your separate self. You are porous, open, and connected. This is the practice of remembering. This is how you move from intellectual understanding to embodiment. And when you embody this truth, when it becomes real in your day-to-day experience, that's when everything changes. Because you're no longer living from a place of scarcity. You're no longer operating from a mindset of lack. You are recognizing your place within a benevolent, intelligent, abundant field. Let's go even deeper. What old identity are you ready to shed? What version of yourself are you ready to let dissolve? Maybe it's the person who believes they're incapable of change, or the one who sees themselves as a victim of circumstances. Maybe it's the version of you who fears stepping into their power. Now is the time to release that story. What version of yourself is calling to emerge from this transformation you're going through? That version of you who's been waiting beneath the surface, the one who knows their true power, the one who understands that they are a part of something much greater than themselves. Now, let's talk about time. You've been taught to think of time as something linear, past behind you, future ahead of you, and the present as a razor-thin moment sandwiched between them. But that's not how consciousness experiences time. It's a construct of the thinking mind designed to make sense of reality. In truth, all versions of you exist simultaneously in the quantum field. The version of you who is struggling right now, the version of you who has already overcome this struggle, and the version of you who is living your dream life, they're all there, all real, all available in the field of potential. Which version you experience as your reality depends on which frequency you tune into. It's like tuning a radio. All the stations are broadcasting at once, but you only hear the one you're tuned into. If you're experiencing struggle, it's because you're tuned into the frequency of struggle. But the version of you who is healed, thriving, and empowered is broadcasting too. That version of you exists right now, available to you at this moment, not in some distant future. This is what people mean when they talk about quantum jumping or reality shifting. It's not magic, it's about changing your frequency. When you shift your internal frequency, you shift your reality. Your attention, your beliefs, your emotional state, and your energetic output are what determine which version of reality you experience. In times of difficulty, you have a choice. You can stay tuned to the frequency of "this is happening to me, I can't handle this," or you can shift to the frequency of "this is happening for me, I am being initiated, I am discovering my power." Same external circumstances, but a completely different internal experience and therefore a completely different reality. And here's where it gets really interesting. As you shift your internal frequency, your external reality begins to shift too. Not because you're manipulating the world around you, but because the world is a reflection of your internal state. The quantum field is a mirror. It reflects back to you what you are being, not what you say you want, but what you are energetically embodying. The words you speak don't matter nearly as much as the energy, the frequency, and the state of being you are embodying. It's not about the phrases you repeat or the affirmations you try to force yourself into believing. What truly matters is the essence of what you are vibrating at every moment, your frequency. The energy you are transmitting into the world is far more significant than the surface-level words you speak. So, how do you shift your frequency when everything around you feels challenging? How do you remain in your empowered self when the version of you that's struggling feels so alive, so undeniable and so real? The key lies in acknowledging your reality. It starts with fully embracing what you're experiencing without trying to suppress it. Many times we try to hide our pain, our fears, or our struggles, telling ourselves to just get over it or move on. But that's not what shifting your frequency is about. That's suppression, and suppression doesn't lead to transformation. Suppression keeps you locked in the same energy you're trying to escape. You cannot skip the painful parts of your journey, and pretending they don't exist only deepens the root of your pain. Instead, you have to feel it. You have to acknowledge it, sit with it, and allow yourself to be human in those moments of difficulty. The shift happens when you choose the meaning behind your experiences. When you're in the thick of pain, you have the power to decide whether it is evidence of your inadequacy or evidence of your strength being revealed. You get to choose whether it's proof of your destruction or proof of your transformation. This is your true power, not the ability to control every circumstance that comes your way, but the ability to control the meaning you attach to what happens. And the more you make the choice to view your struggles through an empowering lens, the more you shift your frequency, even in the smallest of ways. Those little shifts add up over time. Every moment you make a choice to empower yourself instead of disempower, to shift your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, those small choices build. They compound. Over time, your frequency will shift, and one day you'll look around and realize that your reality is completely different, not because the circumstances have changed, but because you've changed the lens through which you're perceiving them. This is how consciousness works. This is how you change your life, not by changing the world around you, but by shifting the world within you. The universe is always communicating with you. Every single moment of your life is a conversation with the universe. Through synchronicities, patterns, repeating lessons, and subtle nudges, the universe is speaking to you. You may not always understand it, but it's communicating in a way that's trying to guide you to something greater. Every challenge, every hardship, every painful moment in your life is not random. It's not a punishment. It's a message. It's a conversation. And that message is that you're ready for the next level of your life. But to access it, you have to let go of the old you, the old patterns, the old identity, the small version of yourself that kept you safe, but kept you small. Transformation requires expansion. It's not about gradual change. It's about full-on disruption. And as uncomfortable as that may sound, it's necessary for growth. True growth doesn't happen without discomfort. When you go through a significant transformation, things have to fall apart. It's like the caterpillar before it can emerge as the butterfly. It has to completely dissolve inside the cocoon. The old structure of the caterpillar breaks down completely before a new form can emerge. And this is exactly what's happening to you right now. The old version of you, the one that was afraid, the one that doubted, the one that played small, is dissolving. You might feel like you're falling apart. You might feel like you're disintegrating, but what you're actually experiencing is the breakdown of your old self, the breakdown of everything that no longer serves you. And as uncomfortable as that is, it's exactly what needs to happen for something new to emerge. When you're in the dissolution phase of your transformation, it's important to remember that you're not ending, you're reorganizing. You're reorganizing into a higher version of yourself. The version that has the capacity to handle more, to carry more, to love more, and to be more. So, when you feel like you're falling apart, Remind yourself that you're actually in the process of a new creation. The person you're becoming has always been inside you. The strength that feels new is actually the same strength you've always had, but now it's coming to the surface. You might not recognize yourself right now, and that's okay. When this transformation completes, you'll look back at the old version of you with a sense of disbelief, not because you'll reject who you were, but because you'll have expanded so far beyond that version of yourself that it will feel like a different lifetime. The things that used to bother you will seem small. The fears that once held you back will lose their grip on you. The limiting beliefs you once believed to be true will be replaced by a profound, direct knowing of what's real. But right now, you're in the cocoon. You're in the middle of the process, and that's exactly where you need to be. There's no way to skip this part. There's no shortcut through the transformation. You must go through the full process, the full breakdown, to allow the new version of you to emerge. And here's where trust comes in. It's not blind faith or naive optimism. It's trust in the process. It's the trust that if you're experiencing this transformation, it's because you're ready for it. Trust that you wouldn't be given this challenge if you didn't have the capacity to handle it. Trust that the universe is not random and that there is meaning woven through even the hardest experiences. How do you cultivate that trust? You look back. You look back at every other difficult season you've already survived. Every other time you thought you couldn't go on, but somehow you did. Every other moment when you reached the edge of your strength and thought you had nothing left to give, but you found more. That's not coincidence. That's evidence. It's evidence of your resilience. It's evidence of your capacity. It's evidence that you're stronger than you know. Use that evidence. Let it build your trust. Let it remind you that if you've made it through everything else, you'll make it through this too. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know the next step right now. But what you do need to know is that you have a track record. You have a history of surviving, adapting, and finding a way forward, even when you couldn't see the path. This transformation might feel overwhelming right now, but it's not new. This process is just another chapter in your ongoing evolution. So let this reminder recalibrate your frequency every morning. Let it anchor you in your truth before the world tries to pull you back into old patterns. If you know someone in your life who is going through their own transformation, share this message with them. When you transmit these truths to others, you're not just helping them to remember, you're reinforcing your own remembering. The energy you transmit amplifies the collective field. The act of sharing becomes its own form of embodiment. By sharing what you've learned, you're not only strengthening others, but also solidifying your own transformation. This season of your life will become another piece of evidence that you can trust yourself, that you can trust the process, that you can trust the universe. Even when everything feels like it's falling apart, something new is being birthed. Something stronger, truer, and more aligned with who you really are, beneath all the conditioning and fear. So, keep going. Not because the path is clear, it's not. Not because you have all the answers, you don't. But because every step you take in the direction of your becoming is a step away from the false version of yourself that never served you anyway. Every moment you choose to continue, even when it feels hard, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than you knew. This is not the end, it was never the end. This is the beginning of the truest, most powerful version of yourself. The version of you that knows beyond any doubt that you were never lost. You were simply remembering, and now you remember. You are enough. You always have been. And this season is simply revealing the magnitude of that truth. Welcome home to yourself. The real you has been waiting. The real you is already here. The real you never left. It was just obscured by layers of protection, pretense, and performance. But those layers are burning away now. The fire is doing its work. And what's emerging from those flames is the version of you that cannot be destroyed. The you that was forged in the same fire that birthed stars. The you that is and always has been a perfect expression of the intelligence that creates worlds. Remember that. Embody that. Let it become the truth you live from. Not just the truth you think about occasionally. Because when you live from that truth, when you operate from that level of knowing, everything shifts. Not because the external world suddenly becomes easier, but because you become unshakable. You become rooted in something so deep that no external storm can touch it. You become anchored in a truth that no temporary circumstance can shake. And from that place of unshakable knowing, you will create differently. You will respond differently. You will show up differently. And the field will respond to that difference. It will mirror back to you the frequency you're broadcasting. Slowly but surely, your entire reality will transform to match the internal transformation you've already made. This is the way forward, not around the difficulty but through it. Not avoiding the fire but allowing it to forge you. Not resisting the transformation but surrendering to it while staying conscious. While choosing at every moment who you're going to be in relationship to what's happening around you. You've got this. Not because I'm telling you so, but because you've always had it within you. The strength, the power, the capacity, it was never in question. You just forgot for a while. And now, this season, this brutal, beautiful, necessary season is reminding you. It's bringing you back home to the truth of who you really are. Once you remember who you are, nothing will ever be the same again. You can't unknow what you've learned. You can't go back to the limited version once you've tasted the infinite. You can only move forward, expanded, transformed, and reborn. And speaking of remembering who you are, there's something else you need to understand about the precise moment you're in right now. The timing of you being here, receiving this transmission, it's not accidental. It's part of the quantum principle at work in your life. The universe is working with you, and you arrived exactly on time. You were never late. Everything is unfolding perfectly as it should. This moment is part of the plan. The next step is waiting, and it's ready for you. Keep moving forward.